have no doubt they are curtailing private relief efforts because the private relief efforts make the Biden-Harris regime look bad. So first up is the Hurricane Helene that has decimated the southeastern United States. Hundreds killed. The bodies are still being recovered. North Carolina particularly devastated. And the concern is that FEMA and the Biden administration has been slow to act. And I've highlighted mainly because there's no one running the Biden administration. Joe Biden is cognitively disabled. He was up at the beach on holiday, as he is all the time, it seemingly these days, as this natural disaster and catastrophe occurred in multiple states. And of course, the agency that's supposed to be taking care of emergencies like this and providing necessary support is FEMA. And a lot of folks believe that FEMA is a disaster itself, let alone an agency that can help address disasters. And FEMA is, their headquarters is near Judicial Watch's headquarters here in Washington, D.C. And I went down to explain to the public what we're up to in that regard.
Hey everyone, Judicial Watch President Tom Fitton here in front of the FEMA headquarters in Washington, D.C. I know a lot of Americans are concerned about the failures, evidently, of the Biden-Harris FEMA operation to respond appropriately to the hurricane. Folks are questioning whether monies that could be available for Americans are being spent on the Biden border invasion, or whether monies are being restricted and FEMA is interfering in relief efforts for the victims of the hurricane. Are politics and competence getting in the way of protecting Americans? Well, your Judicial Watch is on it. We've got several FOIA investigations going already, and you can be sure we aim to get to the truth about Biden-Harris FEMA scandals.
Well, as you know, Judicial Watch is America's leader in the Freedom of Information Act, and we've already submitted FOIAs. Elon Musk, for example, has been highlighting interference alleged by Biden agency officials in the distribution of aid by him and other heroic private actors trying to rescue and support Americans down there. There's a tweet he just issued shortly before I began this recording. So he just received something from one of his colleagues talking about FEMA. They're now about to shut down the airspace to regulate the private choppers we are riding. Please go down. Into deliver, go back up. Deliver Starlink and supplies. We are pushing back with Trump team as well to help us, but not looking good. We need help to get word out about FEMA. We spoke with Ivanka and handed out Starlinks with her yesterday, but FEMA then showed up and started blocking us. The largest concern for us here is the FAA throttling flights for our choppers where they are requiring to-from information and mission now to deliver a discrete code. Doing this take a long time and very cumbersome in the ops. And then go down a little bit. So Pete Buttigieg, the hapless Secretary of Transportation, who spent his time over the weekend reportedly helping Tim Walz prepare for the vice presidential debate, responded with the usual claptrap from government officials. No one is shutting down the airspace, and FAA doesn't block legitimate rescue and recovery efforts. What does that mean, legitimate rescue and recovery flights? If you're encountering a problem, please give me a call. And then Elon responds, there are hundreds of reports of FEMA, FAA blocking flights. This literally just happened. I will follow you. Please DM me the number to call. And this is classic. 35 minutes later or so, or an hour later, still waiting, the helicopter is trying to land to deliver critical supplies. What's the number to call? So this is your government at work, and Judicial Watch has already submitted a FOIA request on this Elon Musk report, and other reports that FEMA is interfering with rescue efforts. And the other concerns, as I noted in the report earlier, is that FEMA has spent a ton of money taking care of illegal aliens, and supposedly just has barely enough money to deal with hurricane recovery efforts. Now, I know Republicans are upset about that, but I hate to kind of blow, what's the phrase? Throw a wet blanket on their argument or burst their bubble. They've been funding this crap. I mean, to complain about FEMA spending money on illegal aliens when you're writing the darn check is, to me, I mean, are we supposed to check our brains at the door when these politicians make these arguments? I don't understand it. And you know, as I warned earlier this month, they were planning. They came back from a 6-week vacation, August break on September 8th, spent 2 weeks arguing about this continuing resolution, which is a blank check to everything they say they oppose, including monies like they're talking about now being spent on aliens. And I was talking to folks on the Hill, and it was clear they were just trying to get out and don't want to do anything till the end of the year. Here's what I reported.
Well, I've had a few meetings here in Washington, D.C. this week. It's pretty clear that most of Congress is thinking of ways to get out of the city without doing anything for the rest of the year. Not cutting spending to curtail inflation, not protecting our elections from alien voting, not protecting Trump and the rule of law from the effort to jail him by the Biden regime, not doing much of anything. And frankly, if you're interested in having Congress do something, you should contact them now. 202-225-3121. That's 202-225-3121.
So, sure enough, that's exactly what they did. They fled town. They voted for the CR to fully fund everything they say they hate. They didn't even pass the one thing they were fighting about, which was the effort to better ensure that illegal aliens, or aliens generally, can't vote in our federal elections. And now they're gone. They're gone until November 12th. And no one's expected to do anything much until at least the end of the year is when the CR runs out. So for all the complaints you hear about FEMA and the way they're spending money, that's the Republican-controlled House's fault, in part. And they have the pole position in terms of being able to leverage, if they wanted to, government shutdowns or the threats of shutdowns or continued government funding to ensure that money isn't wasted on supporting illegal alien invaders, and that the focus is on when emergencies come, if the federal government's supposed to provide support, that they have adequate support to do what Americans want them to do. And that clearly isn't happening right now in the South. Now, why is that not happening? Well, I think based on my experience, is that the government basically has all the money they ever need to do whatever they want at the time they're doing it. I know there are some technical aspects of that make that more difficult in practice to pursue, but if they want to spend the money, it's there. And I don't think they want to spend the money down that way because there's a bunch of Trump voters there. They're not Democrat enclaves. And you may say, well, that's outrageous, Tom. Why would anyone think that way? But that's the way these bureaucracies think. I mean, politicians take care of their friends first. Western North Carolina is Trump country. And, Trump made a show of going to help people before, Kamala got back from her fundraising on the West Coast and Joe got back from his sunbathing up in Delaware or whatever the heck he was doing up there. Convalescing, really, in many ways. And so that's why, in my view, you've got this issue of competence and politics, and it's an ugly mix. when it comes to FEMA deploying assets and resources. And I have no doubt they are curtailing private relief efforts because the private relief efforts make the Biden-Harris regime look bad. And if Americans are harmed in the process, too bad. And that's why Judicial Watch has the Freedom of Information Act request already out. We've done a FOIA request on Elon Musk's tweet. And so we don't make requests in an idle fashion. We expect answers. We pursue them even if we don't sue, we pursue them. And obviously we have a powerful record of suing to get the truth out about what is an ongoing tragedy involving countless American citizens. So if you've got information about this FEMA scandal and you work in the government, or you're affected, you're seeing what's happening down in North Carolina or Georgia or South Carolina or Tennessee, wherever, let us know. Maybe there's FOIAs we can pursue. But priorities, right? Thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and like our video down below.